Hello everyone, Shawna here from Planet Cyrene. I'm here with Kris today to answer as many of the player questions in the AMAA thread. Sadly, Alexander won't be joining due to scheduling conflicts, so I'm going to be stepping in for him. Let's just jump right in and start with the hub. When will the requirement to remove clothes to enter the hub be removed?
At this time, there's no way to change the limitations on the hub. The system is set up to be either allowed or disallowed with no in-between. It's pretty annoying, but right now we can't make any changes.
The lime green tokens in the hub have dropped in locations where avatars cannot reach. Has this been resolved?
This should have been resolved some time ago.
Events. Does Cyrene plan on doing any events with P2P trades or some other sort of way, such as using official event systems or vendor NPCs?
We want to actually avoid P2P trades because there's a lot of pitfalls and time zones, so right now we're making adjustments to the existing land area to be able to use the event system.
Marketing. You mentioned that marketing is working on some things. When will we see some of it, like maybe an ad for Cyrene on the Super Bowl?
Alexander told me no Super Bowl ads, but I can say that we have a set marketing plan that's supposed to kick off around July.
Nice. I get asked this pretty frequently. I'm excited to see this topic. Estates. What is the ETA on apartments and shops on Cyrene being available? And how many will there be?
Just about booths really quickly. We recently found out that the idea to have quarterly shopping booths to active vendors isn't feasible. So for the summer, we've revamped the booth area at the supply depot and we'll have an event to award the booths instead. As for shops and apartments, they've been planned for some time, but it's been difficult to convince the higher-ups here to let them become available to players. I think the booths will be a good metric of player interest and engagement to show them that they should be in the game.
Pets and Taming. Will there be a Wolpertinger upgrade available? And if so, do you have any details you can give?
We're always looking to add cool pets on Cyrene, especially for taming, but the problem is the pet buffs and the reward need to be worth the player's effort. It's something that we're discussing with Mindark.
Will there be a taming mission implemented on Cyrene now that 2 other locations in Entropia have them? Also, Toulon's addition of daily missions to tame 100 low-level tab seems like it could be matched with the Arete missions. Maybe?
In the past, we tried to have taming missions, but the quest system at the time didn't accurately record progress for it, so it got scrapped. But it's something we can see about for the future.
Will more tameable mobs be added? And if so, do you know when?
We've got some pets in the queue that I think would be really fun to add, but right now the issue is making sure they have the right stats and passive abilities for whatever is released next. No ETA at this time.
Is one of those pets Clifford?
No. He's too powerful.
Okay, I had to ask. So Next Island and Toulon recently added epic pet taming missions. Any plans for that on Cyrene?
I've seen about these missions and they're dope, really. And we love missions like that on Cyrene, so I think we'll probably do something like that in the future when the pets are ready.
Nice. Mining. Any word on blue icy crystals and if it is actually implemented in the loot pool yet? Or the texture blueprint? If it's not, is that something we'll see specifically mentioned in a future VU notes when it is?
I triple checked the mining areas to make sure that this in matter will be available in the upcoming VU, and we'll do our best to make sure that when the VU launches, it's able to get mined right away. I'm not sure what the problem was before, but I think it'll be okay this coming VU.
So also on the note of mining, players have noticed a general trend when maps, islands, or other areas of land are expanded. The area that was previously underwater tends to only give basic finds. Is this something intended or is this a bug?
If anything seems weird with mining, just bring it up on the forums or in the Discord and we'll make sure to get it handled. In the past, when there was big terrain changes or whatever, maybe the mining wasn't adjusted correctly or maybe it was focused on creature spawns. I think we've gotten better over time, but it's something we can always improve. So not intended, please report anything weird.
There's a great thread on the forums about water gear and mining with ideas about possible mechanics behind it. We'll put the link down in the description if anybody's interested in reading it. What are your thoughts on this?
I went through this thread. I thought it was really cool. There's a lot of rules that need to be set up, and I don't know how much it could be fully implemented with the system that we have, but it could be a really good stepping stone.
So, the Codex. When can we get more information about it for Cyrene?
As far as I know, everything is set up for the Codex to be coming in the next Planet Partner VU.
Fantastic. Development. Will Cyrene add a new freebie type of thing to draw in more daily participants? For example, Monria Moon has this hazmat mission where you run around hitting waypoints and get the reward of 2 ped of universal ammo daily.
We did start a mission to cater to new players. It might not be enough, though. I think Waypoint mission could be cool, but we don't want to just copy what other planets have done. There's some stuff in the works for lower level players that are focused on sweating, and we can add something like this to the design board.
Will Cyrene add in trees to harvest and blueprints to use them?
I really like harvestable trees. Having traditional style nodes for resource gathering is dope, but we don't want to just add more stackables when we need to find uses for our current loot. If we do this in the future, I'd like to introduce it with furniture and probably estates.
This question is near and dear to me. Can Cyrene focus on making terrain nicer in some locations or adding more color and variety?
Done and done. We've already been working on that for this year and are going to continue to do so. Many players already told me about their appreciation for the ones that have been improved already.
What happened to New Janus? Is it still under construction?
That's right. Still dealing with some logistics there for what is coming, but that will be the main space for estates.
Okay, so what happened to the dynamic map?
Right now, the dynamic map is kind of in limbo. Some of the biggest hurdles are balancing issues that we're working on solving with MindArc. Everything's still being tracked, but it feels bad to actively have stuff that's shown to players, but isn't executed from our side. Once we can fully update the map and restart it, I plan to make sure it's at the forefront.
Can we expect new epic missions?
You mean the next part in the legendary saga of the epic mission chains on Cyrene? No. I'm kidding, of course. We learned a lot from both Lazadal and the Empress Wasp Queen in terms of design, mission scope, story, and loot drops. So I hope that the third iteration will be more streamlined and players will know what to expect and how the reward system will work. In fact, there was a new part that dropped from Lazadal, but it's probably not related.
I don't know. Sounds kind of suspicious. When can we expect to get full Imperium plate upgrade missions?
Should be coming in the next Planet Partner VU.
Will new mazes and instances be added? And if so, can you give us any concept of what these will be like?
We have several instances at various stages of development at this time. I won't go into any detail, just, some broad strokes. We have an instance that's a timed long-range shooting area. We have solo player boss instances. We have new PvP arenas. We have improvements to the Hunter's Cavern instances and a Maze Weaver instance.
Upgrades and balancing. Are further upgrades to the Epic FAP upgrade mission going to continue to be added? On that note, will similar upgrades be made available for other types of items?
Upgrading items feels good and is rewarding and targetable, so it's something we want to keep doing with all the major items on Cyrene. It's just a matter of making sure that everything's balanced so we can get it into the game.
Players can adjust, improve, and modify armor plates, armor sets, as well as weapons on Calypso with relative ease and have been able to for years without boundaries. Will this be something that comes to Cyrene?
After this question was posted, we talked internally about it and all agreed that this is something that's lacking on Cyrene, and it's an opportunity we haven't explored almost at all. So we're going to open up the dialogue with MindArc about it.
Will some universal items like shopkeepers and generic fuse start dropping?
Shopkeepers should be dropping already, same with mannequin pads. Generic fuse is not a Cyrene item, so I can talk to MindArc about it.
Is there a plan to add some new loot for share to loot mobs like big birds? And Is there a plan to introduce high-level limited guns, swords, and knives in loot level 70 through 100?
We're always pushing to get more loot on Cyrene that fits the higher level mobs we have a bit better. However, we can't just create items for the sake of having items. It's something we're talking to Monarch about, but it's an ongoing discussion.
Will low-level guns be removed from higher HP mobs, specifically guns that have the same stats as trade terminal guns?
We're actually looking to rebalance the loot to have better loot composition, and it's a process that we're starting for the coming VU. All the Renegade Hazard Zone mechs will have their loot adjusted in such a way that is ideally more conducive to the overall hunting experience. We'll be watching this mob type and getting feedback from the hunters to make adjustments before we do this to any other mobs.
Is there a plan to add some blueprints on Cyrene that use animal oil residue, since it seems to drop a lot?
The short answer is yes. The long answer is that we want to make blueprints that are meaningful or lead to meaningful items, and that's something we're planning to do for the second half of this year.
Will Ice Golem damage get fixed or changed? It seems too OP for its HP.
With the codex coming, it might be difficult to adjust the mob stats. I haven't seen any other complaints about this creature in particular, but it's something we can look at.
When does Cyrene plan to do something about the refurbished heart fat bug?
Right now, we're working with Monarch to find the reason this item actually became bugged in the first place, so we know how to fix it. As soon as there's more information, I'll make sure it's posted everywhere.
Holidays. Will the Christmas frog figurines ever be fixed? They simply pop out of existence when avatars get close to them in the estates, which makes moving things around on shelves highly annoying.
I can talk to the team about trying to fix this issue.
Calypso and Arkadia have released Christmas trees for Christmas a couple of times now, with Arkadia also releasing a nice little train to set up under the trees. When will the Cyrene trees be coming out?
I didn't know it was a tradition. I can ask the guys to whip up something over the summer, but no promises.
Are there plans for something new and special for Christmas or other holidays going forward to be done annually?
It's something that we talk about internally in the fall. It really just depends on what lines up with our plans. It might be fun to do holidays that are not really celebrated as well.
This is by far the most talked about topic and question that I get hands down all the time. Armor upgrade missions. Did the team get approval from AMAA to have an update to the armor mission and still be able to release something in the future? Maybe a different type of mission, but the same armors with the same buffs and protection.
Right now, we're still in the discussion phase as these armors have a wider impact than just Planet Cyrene. We're still wanting to bring the armors back in whatever capacity we're allowed, but it's an ongoing process.
When will armor missions be released again?
I stated before, we're still in the discussion phase, but in the interim, the armor plate missions will be coming this VU to try to bridge the gap and allow players who have mats tied up to use them for these missions if they're interested.
Staff. I'm pretty sure this is directed at Alexander. Are you the AMAA community manager? And does he have any expertise/qualifications to be able to answer questions?
No, he's obviously not me. Anything that can't be answered directly with his limited knowledge will be overseen by myself and Ed to be answered to the best of Cyrene's ability.
If Ed could choose between fighting one Peter-sized rhino beetle or 100 rhino beetle-sized Peters, which one would he pick?
I know Ed pretty well, and I think he'd want to fight both at the same time.
Nice. So these are a few bugs and suggestions from some of the players. Add a map to all possible missions.
I'm not sure if we're allowed to do this or not. I think for some of the missions, the waypoints could be better, and that's something that we can focus on.
Fix known issues that are seen in each and every version of update notes.
This is easier said than done. There's a lot of outstanding issues that haven't been or can't be fixed at this time. But then if they're removed, it seems like they are fixed or we drop them by the wayside. Part of the reason I like to keep them is for accountability.
Will there be compensation in the PED Flow Center for those that purchased the fireplace during the time it was advertised in-game for the wrong price?
I don't think this is cause for any compensation. The price was correct within the mission, but the text was the issue. If anyone does have this grievance, they can reach out to me directly on the forum, and I can talk to support to see about swapping your fireplace back for tokens.
What happened to the cave with the protocore inside on the northern swamp lurker wave? I've never knew the purpose of that protocore, and now the cave is covered.
It was mostly for decoration and foreshadowing before it was released as a creature on Cyrene.
Here are just a few ideas players have for more things to use Maze Weaver certificates on, so bear with me as I get through them. Upgraded Wolpertingers. Maybe churn in 2 to get an upgraded version, or churn in 2 upgraded ones to get an even better one. Upgraded Maze Hammers, such as better stats or buffs. Maze Weaver line of clothing and armor. And lastly, new weird blueprints that use Maze Weaver certificates and Pleat Queen combinations.
I like all these ideas, especially the weird blueprints. The Maze Weavers are a really fun bit of content, and we got a Maze Weaver instance in the works, so who knows where these could show up.
Launch and land deeds. What is the launch status of Planet Cyrene?
Alexander told me there's some interesting things in the work, but we can't give an exact date right now.
Any news on the mechs?
It was something that we put a lot of effort into jointly with MindArc, but we really just couldn't get it to a state that was playable. It's not something that we want to give up on, but we got to wait for the technology to catch up.
Are there any potential plans to sell off a portion of Cyrene to the player base, similar to what has happened recently with Arkadia Underground, Ancient Greece, and the Crystal Palace shares? Maybe a majorly revised hub sold off to the players could be interesting, or another server could be sold off after it's added, similar to what the original Cyrene was.
We've talked internally and with MindArc about a few different avenues we can go down, but we haven't made any major decisions.
Factions. Will new rewards for Maze Weaver certificates be added? Also, what happened to the Maze Weaver certificates? Its only use is the Wolpertinger, but it could be used for something else.
Like I mentioned before, we love the Maze Weavers, and after reading these questions, it seems like players do as well. So it's something we want to continue to do in the future. We'll try to make something that all players want to do.
Is anyone working on Arc rank 4 through 6?
There are internal missions and reward schemas set for additional ranks. However, we've been working to get to a state where the initial ranks 1 through 3 feel good, meaningful before we continue on or introduce a new faction.
When will the story about each faction and how it interacts be more in-game? And with that, will there be specific faction items?
I mean, technically there's faction items now in the game already because you have to have the ARC badges to get certain items, access to certain items as well. We're going to be exploring new and traditional storytelling techniques via items this year, specifically in regards to the Imperium and how the ARC faction came to be and gain some of its heroes.
Okay, this concludes the AMAA portion of the podcast, but we here at Cyrene want to give you players a preview of this upcoming VU, so Kris will take it from here.
Since it took so long for me to answer and record this, I wanted to add the VU preview here. So we got the full armor plate missions, can upgrade each piece from adjusted to perfected via these vendors. Also, the codex should be arriving on Cyrene with all creatures being included. Next, we have the story of Roy Volker, an Imperium space pilot who crash landed on Cyrene. His story will be told through his armor set, and for each piece you have, you'll unlock additional story. The booth area at the supply depot has been enhanced to get ready for the event that will come for all players to compete for a chance to win a booth. Lastly, we've set the groundwork for a new tribe of Zin, the Zin Tucano. After the summer, there'll be a focus for players in regarding sweating, sweat rewards, and low to mid-level bosses. Of course, the normal bug fixing and other VU stuff is here as well. We're looking forward to all feedback and comments about these questions in the preview. Thanks for listening, and thanks for playing on Planet Cyrene.
Thank you, Kris, for taking the time to record this with me, and we will catch you guys and gals next time.